welcome back, one and all, to Remnant. Alright, let's skip the formalities. Let's get right back into it. Now, I have to talk to Modar in Ward 13 before I can continue the story, so let's just go ahead and real quick do that.
You carry a piece. The root is self. Great forces of...
Alright, so we've talked to the Root Mother now, and one thing that she is known for in the game, the important thing that she does, is that
offer you
she can upgrade your Dragon Heart. Basically, you randomly from anything in the world, boxes. No, I don't think it's randomly like from everything, but I think like randomly spawn in the world, you can find Simulacrum, which the Simulacrum is what you need to upgrade your Dragon Heart. Oh, and Luminite crystals, which will randomly drop from Elite mobs. I believe you can get up to 9 Dragon Heart charges, maybe more. I don't remember exactly how many you can have, but I remember 9 being a very definitive number. But of course, this is being basically is your Estus, quote unquote. So this is she's going to be very important once we find simulacrums. Also, she has informed us of where we need to go next. We need to find the labyrinth. So, let us be on our way to go find the labyrinth.
Bastard.
Ooh, an item. Pillar of Stone. Reduces recoil and weapon. Ooh, that's actually really good. Yeah, that makes our accuracy like really good. That'll be useful for now, until we find, of course, better items. That right there was another elite enemy that you'll see a decent amount of in this region. Those summons those little short guys from the sewers earlier. And if not taken care of quickly, they could quickly summon a lot of them and swarm you. So it's good to take them out as quickly as possible, but also try not to get, shot in the back or swarmed at the same time.
You're dead.
Oh, here we are. This is a simulacrum. This will be very fucking dandy for later.
I smell trouble.
And we do have enough Luminite crystals to capitalize on that too. So we'll be able to upgrade our Dragon Heart once we go back to Ward 13. So we'll have 4 instead of 3. And there's another item. Burden of the Gambler. And this is a weapon that's for crit builds, rather than weak spot builds. See, it'll disable your weak spot bonus, but it gives you majorly increased crit chance and a good amount of crit damage increase. This is a good ring for if you're using weapons that are not very precision based, like automatic weapons and such. Or like shotguns. This will not be handy for us, however, since we have precision weapons and we're going to rely on weak spot damage a lot. But it's a good ring for if you have weapons that don't rely on precision too much.
I'll tear you up.
Ooh. There's our first instance of forged iron. Now, forged iron, like normal iron, is used to upgrade your equipment. Because when you get to a certain level of your equipment, you will require the next up iron. So every 5 levels for weapons and armor, you will require a different tier of iron. Unless it's a boss weapon, and then it's every 3 levels up until the final 10th level, where it requires... It was like 2 or 3 levels, and then the final level, it'll require a special resource. I won't spoil that resource until we get to the point where we need it. So just know that it is a very expensive, and also early on you can only get up to an upgrade level of a certain point because you will require higher level materials later on, which you'll find in later areas, of course, because the game will naturally scale the material drops with how far you are in the game, as it should.
Well, ain't you a right mutter, coming in here all by your lonesome. Most folk ain't so dumb. Meat don't gotta be scared to taste good. Just dead.
Coming for you.
And here we have an optional boss fight. Now this boss isn't particularly hard. There's just a good bit of ads, and since all of they're bandits, they're of course going to be shooting at you, so that can make things a little tough. But you see, even though he was point blank to me, he wasn't doing very much damage.
Still standing. Got all my parts? Whew, I call that a win.
Also, some weird thing is that when you kill their boss, they for some reason just are not hostile anymore. Which I always found kind of funny. That was another elite enemy that pretty much will summon explosions of root rot at your location. At least try to anyway. Oh, there's another summoner too. But they will start summoning explosions of root rot to your location, and they will not stop unless it either interrupted or killed. So they'll keep constantly casting it until they are dead or interrupted. And they can be quite difficult if you're in the middle of a firefight and then you suddenly have explosions happening on top of you and you can't exactly get your footing and all that. So finding them and taking them out quickly is very, very ideal. However, in some situations, of course, you're not going to be able to do that. So it really is just a give or take, whether or not you could take them out quickly or not. But I recommend taking them out as quickly as possible. Right here is where we face our first major boss. Now, that first boss we fought was we would consider a mini boss or a not really a major boss, minor boss. This, however, is our first real fight. I'll let the intro speak for itself. That is right. Our first major fight in this game is a fucking dragon. Now, this again is randomly generated, as is everything in this game. So, you may not get this fight in your first playthrough. I believe the first major fight will be one of fights, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or it's just one of two. And I'm just wrong in that regard. that is our first major boss down.
So,
Now, I don't want to spoil what the other major boss could be because, of course, I would love for you guys to play this game and see everything that this game has to offer for yourself. However, that is the cooler of the two, if I had to, you know, spoil something. That one's the better fight. The other one is very annoying and not really that fun, if I'm honest. But hey, you may like the other one. Who am I to judge? Quite the introduction. Let's see what's inside.
Cracks in the walls grow every day, surrounding me.
Hello.
Human, the core is rotten. The root corrupts everything. Why do you distract the keeper?
Go for a man named Ford.
Insignificant. Chance of success negligible. The Guardians are destroyed. The Devourer lurks unchecked. The Labyrinth erodes daily. And I can behold the tide. On the other hand, your journey is not guaranteed to fail. Very well. Enter and see. The Labyrinth
What? Where am I
holds
going?
all doors and infinite possibilities. If the path you require exists, it lies within. This is the maximum help I can provide at the moment. All endeavors will fail if I do any more.
Welcome to the Labyrinth.
Great King, I did not expect... You? You are not he. Yet you have opened the gates. A second Nui? It must be... Forgive my confusion, unheralded one. Your sublime feet honor the sands of the eastern wind, itinerant one. Whatever your purpose, we are blessed by your presence. Surely there are none like you, inimitable one. At least, I have never seen your like. I know none of that name or description. There is one who might know.
Mystery continues.
He is not one to give information willingly. Except, perhaps, to another Nui. Yes, yes. Perhaps you are the one after all. You seek Aslan, the Undying King.
Ooh, the Undying
But
King.
I warn you,
Sounds interesting.
challenging him will not be easy. Take caution. Go well, enlightened one.
As you probably guessed from some of our dialogue, we are not exactly on Earth anymore. The Labyrinth is a host to multiple portals. It's basically like an in-between portal to different worlds.
Take care.
If it were me. Certainly. So long.
Alright, we're upgraded some more. Got some armor upgrades. We should be solid. And now, we're fighting like tribal warriors. These enemies do have a weak spot. However, their weak spot is covered. It requires a certain amount of shots to take out the cover so that you can access their weak spot. These guys are the first elite enemy you'll find. They're basically big, burly melee enemies. They'll try to get up close and do as much damage as possible in melee range. They're quite simple, quite easy. Just dodge. And if you have enough sustained gunfire, you can take them out before they even get to you, if you have the damage. So they're not that hard to take out, no matter what. They're meant to be the baseline elite enemy of this zone. Easy, simple. Here's a different one of the elite enemies. This one is like a caster of sorts that will inflict a special status effect on you called radiation. Now, radiation pretty much will make it so that you consume more stamina and have less stamina than normal. So pretty much it will make it so that dodging will be a lot harder. So you really don't want to be afflicted with radiation. It is a big no-no. So taking out anything that inflicts radiation as soon as possible and avoiding, radiation blasts is very, very, very important. Now, this right here is another random event. Now, this is very, very skippable because not everyone will know what this is. As you can see, those platforms move. If you step on these platforms in the right order, it'll get you access to a special set of armor. You fail to do it, and it will spawn enemies like that. So you pretty much have to do it exactly right, otherwise you'll just get enemies constantly spawning. However, you can try it as many times as you want, and you don't have to worry about it locking you out. However, once you finish it, you will get access to a set of armor. That's, I'd say, is pretty alright. New item. Hunter's Halo. Increases your effective range of firearms. Now, not really a good ring. I'm just gonna say that straight up. It's not a good ring. Because you don't really need to increase your firearm effectiveness, because a lot of combat scenarios aren't exactly the really long range. And if you want to take fights at long range, you're gonna use long range weapons anyway. So, honestly, not a great ring.
That all you got?
Ah, the skull enemies. How I don't fucking miss you. These skull enemies are more of a nuisance than anything. They're ranged attackers and sometimes come in radioactive variants. Their entire purpose is to just overwhelm you. And that is one of the Hive monsters, which is an elite enemy that will send radioactive blasts your way. And that was the radioactive skull right there. which that thing's job is to charge at you and blow up and dealing radiation damage, basically. It's a suicide bomber of radiation. Now, the Hive enemies, their entire job is to shoot radiation balls at you. And the more you shoot them, the more radiation balls they spawn that will auto-home in on you. So you gotta watch out when fighting these things. As you can see, that radiation ball is homing in on me. It's a soft lock, so it's easily avoidable. However, when there's a lot of them, it can sometimes be overwhelming. So be careful when taking these things on. And here is a radiation mage. Like the root rot mages of the previous zone, they're the same deal. They'll just constantly summon radiation explosions until done. Item too. Impulsion loop. Increases movement speed, fire rate, melee speed for 7 seconds after slaying an enemy. So basically this is just for speed. So if you want to do a speed build, this would be good. If not, then don't worry about it. Nice, simple, to the point. And rewards you rapid killing. That thing. Okay. That thing is like the gunner from the previous zone, except much more terrifying. Because it's a lot tankier. Those things are usually a lot scarier, mainly because of the fact that usually the zone you're fighting them in is close quarters, and their gun can do some fucking damage.
Whoa.
And also, that's an example of if you can't kill those things in a few hits, they can easily swarm you with radiation. That was a lot of radiation blasts.
Quiet down. You wake the pack. I won't be blamed for what happens if you do.
Now, here is an optional boss fight. Now, if you don't want to deal with it, you can just simply walk on past. But you have to walk. Otherwise, you'll waken the pack, as he says, and then you'll be sucked into the boss fight. Now, what's the point of doing this boss fight? Two things. You'll get a boss item for a weapon mod, and you'll get an item that you can use for an optional secret. So it's very enticing to do that boss fight. However, considering that I can't use anything other than the base equipment that I have, we have no reason to do this boss fight. So we will be skipping it. And this is where we'll be ending today's episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.